Hey, good morning from Seattle, Washington, USA, Modern Living Studio. We here on Friday. Every Friday we wanted to take the time, from our busy working schedule, John, and share with each other about best idea, practice, and for the employment-based visa program. And last week it's fantastic that we're gonna be able to help a broker from Chicago send in a great client from Vietnam to United States on a tourist visa, and we able to help that client to in the process of converting the tourist visa into the employment-based permanent visa program. So that not only that, but our partner from Modern Living Company is also coming to United States through our sponsorship from our company, so that they can come here, help to build more housing for our community and creating more jobs and creating much more square footage when it comes to like residential, and that's what we need right now in the country, which is like housing, right? But again, we starting out this program. It's all about housing and green card visa opportunity for our foreign partner from Asia that help. And the main thing here is helping to creating more job to foreign investment, right? And so what do we get? We got the passports, right? So I travel, and John, you're gonna help to travel to Asia the end of this month.
Yes.
To really talking to our potential investor, potential job creator in America about coming to the U.S., right? And and so we're gonna go through Saigon, Vietnam, at our headquarters. That where we're gonna have roughly it's about 700 plus investor, and our co-op broker is waiting for us to share best idea and practice of how to continue to come to America. And we from the regional center, you providing the pathway, for them to do it, right? I'm just a
Absolutely.
real estate guy, I just telling them that, what we need to do, and you're gonna help assisting them, helping them to walk them to the pathway to United States. And so it's great that we have you to come in here today and kind of share with each other, share with everybody about your experience, your knowledge, and how we gonna best help our co-op and our investor. Giving them the golden nugget, giving them the great idea that they can apply into what they do. We see real estate, mortgage, and getting the green card.
Absolutely.
Right, John. Very glad to have you here. So, couple of questions that I would like to ask you a little bit later on today. But John, so based on what you see right now in the market, right? How do you see the Asian investor that coming to United States and buying home? I know that from real estate information from National Association of Realtor, which I attended last week in Boston, Massachusetts. We still have a Chinese investor, Asian investor from China that purchased over $120 billion in residential annually, right? And then we still have Vietnam is still buying over 10 billion annually, and that number is supposed to be quadruple in the next 4 or 5 years or so, right? And then in terms of but the Asian investor, our Asian investor partner, they buy the property through modern living system. They get the green card, and we're providing loan for them, right, to buy home here in the U.S. So we're excited about that. Can you kind of show us the what is the percentage from country in Asia that invested in United States in terms. We know that there are top 3 countries that doing it right now in the U.S. and what is it that we can do together that you, your immigration partner, your real estate lawyer partner, your team from the regional side, center side can help, but see this opportunity with the market in Asia. What are the top country that invested in right now in the U.S.?
Yeah, the top 3 countries that are doing the investment are India, China, and Vietnam. And those numbers have changed a little bit since COVID,
Right.
and they're bouncing back and forth. The last numbers we had were from 2019, but 31, 15, 10%. But those numbers kind of bounce around a little bit. We've got some problems with retrogression, where sometimes they go through the EB-5 program from India, and they've got to wait a long time before they can get their green card. So the new program with USCIS has allowed us to do a rural project and allow people to skip that long line and get a green card sometimes as quick as 6 months, but usually before 18 months is up. So it works out really well with the new program. It's difficult for the regional centers to create those projects, but we've got a good one ready to go. And I think that we're going to be able to provide a really good service to our investors, whichever country they come from.
That's great, John. That's so great. And, based on the information that provided by USCIS filing, when we look at some of the country that, you indicated before was, India, China, Vietnam, Taiwan, and South Korea, still the leading. So what would be the percentage for the investor that filed in?
Well, again, this is from 2019 before COVID, but we had 31% of all the EB-5 visas came from India, and 15% from China, and 10% from Vietnam. I think those numbers have changed a little bit, but in general, they're pretty close. But again, those numbers are only important when we talk about retrogression and how long it takes to get your visa once you've put your money down and you've filed your 526F. Once that's been filed, that's when retrogression kicks in. Our projects are rural projects only right now, and those projects skip that line entirely.
That is fantastic, right? It's now the for those, for example, at the University of Washington right now, we have about 30+% international students. And right here in the headquarters in Seattle, Washington, United States, we have company like Amazon, they have a percentage of their worker is through H-1B visa program, right? That need to be converted into a permanent residency visa program. And so Microsoft, so we here in Seattle, and every time we go to Microsoft, we see a lot of H-1B. It's just like the whole village of Asian worker, a foreign worker there that need to transfer from work temporary visa into a permanent visa.
Absolutely.
So can you share with us the new law with the immigration that allow for the investor to convert to change, John?
Yeah, in fact, with the new law, the conversion process is fantastic. So if you've got an H-1B visa, you've got some restrictions on you and what your family can do on that visa. But with an EB-5 visa, you are as if you were an American citizen. So your children, instead of going to school as immigrant children, they're going to school as if they were residents. And it's a big difference. Also, the restrictions on your spouse and her ability to work, that goes away with this type of visa. It's a concurrent filing, and it just supersedes the other filing immediately. It's a wonderful thing. And again, these visas are issued sometimes as quick as 6 months, but almost all of them are well below 18 months. So it's an extremely good program. You get your money back with the program. It's not a gift, it's a loan. It's an absolutely fantastic program for someone.
Thank you, John. Thank you for sharing your best idea and practice. And again, all of us is watching. I want you to take a lot of this great information sharing from the most experienced executive from the regional center program and apply that into your business and help you to be able to, sell more real estate, sell more mortgage, and of course, sell more American Dream green card visa, right? So couple of things. I attended the meeting with the Northwest Hospitality last night with our designated broker, Erzi. And so we talked to a lot of hotel investor, developer, owner from all over the country that gathering about 120 of us in the room, right? So a lot of our hospitality owner, investor, and investor wanted to, convert invested into residential, right? Of course, residential is a hot topic right now. And so we have a unique program that we wanted to offer for the investor to real estate ownership, right?
Absolutely.
So John, can you kind of share with us, what would be that American Dream program that helping the international buyer?
Well, one of the things that we want to do a little differently is the EB-5 program is a program about trust. And you've got to trust the company that you're working with. And one of the best ways to develop trust between us and you is to have you buy a piece of property. When you buy a piece of property and you own the property, you have a feeling of ownership and a piece of America itself. And because of the laws in the United States, you actually will own the property. It's not that you're going to get a lease on the land, you're going to own the property. And after you have ownership of the property, you can take a loan out on that property and show some of the, fulfill some of the USCIS requirements of where the money came from. So we like to use that as a stepping stone, if you will, to get to your visa with the green card system, the EB-5 program.
Thank you, John. So that would be a benefit plus. So then the owner and international buyer, home buyer, can own the property outright themselves. Because everybody come to the U.S., they don't want to be homeless, right? They want to have the roof on their heads.
Everybody wants to own property in the United States. That's the golden ticket, if you will.
Great. And then what about money to buy this home? Is there a system that we talking about a lot of this, bank here in United States are willing to lend to the people that have no income, no W-2, no resident status, no bank account and no credit history. Can they still get the money to buy those homes?
Well, of course, if somebody's going to pay cash for a home, there's no restrictions whatsoever.
Well, cash is king, right?
Cash is king. But if somebody needs to borrow money to do a loan, we have no doc loans, which means there's no requirements for anything. And they're usually running at about a 60% loan to be able to do that.
Right. Yeah. So you mentioned to us about 60% LTV, loan to value.
Loan to value, yes.
Right. And also there are no limitation of how many units they can buy.
There's no limits.
Right.
No limits at all.
Right. So that's it. That's it, guy. That's very important point that you need to, implement into your real estate, mortgage and EB-5 business. That if you were to help more clients from Asia, from Europe and Africa to move to United States legally. And the word here is moving to United States legally, right? Because a new law that kicked into the United States after the general election in this year, in January 2025, right, John?
Yes.
Yeah. So
January
that would
20th.
be, yeah. So, we know that the process is still simple. Can you share with us, I'm doing real estate, this is my year number 27, right? I'm a land developer. So I'm dealing with land and home. It's like at all, they say at all at dust. And then we look at immigrant investor program. It's a very old program too, right? But why in the world people have to go through employment-based category number 5 program?
Well,
with the regional center.
Yeah, the employment-based EB-5 program is a really good program. It's probably one of the best programs I've ever seen, especially for immigration. And it is a job-creating program. The whole purpose of this program is to create jobs in rural areas. So what we're going to do is we're going to develop some property in a rural area, create jobs, build homes, which the rural area desperately needs. And it's a win-win-win. The investor gets a green card, the community gets jobs, the community gets homes, and the investor gets a return on their investment and their money back. Nothing is better than that. We make a little bit of money on it, but the real win for us is to watch you get your visa and come back to the United States and then eventually become a U.S. citizen. We're excited about that process.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is just like what John say. It's a win-win business and win-win transaction, right? So we just been through in United States what it called like election, right? So like either that I vote for one side, which is a Democrat, or you vote for one side Republican. It called like win-lose, right? But in this investment for American Dream program, it called like win-win, right?
It's a win for everybody.
Right.
Literally, this is. I can't even begin to say how excited I am to be a part of this particular program. It is so good for everybody concerned.
That's wonderful. And so what do you think the quickest process for the investor to apply and to get the green card from step A to step B?
We like to do a process where somebody buys a home and then refinances that home to get the money for their EB-5 program. It's $800,000. Then there's another $125,000 for the regional center's fees, and then file the 926F, and the process starts. It's real simple. It is not complicated.
That's great, John. And we appreciated that. That's definitely a golden nugget for a lot of us is watching this program here today. And I know that, as a real estate guy and real estate investor, my goal is to help, team, company, and to sell more, to help more clients. And I know that you have a great service that you have to provide for your client, and we wanted to help you to do that. So we're excited about that. I just signed a contract, that we're gonna be existing over 150 brokers coming from iHouse in Vietnam, right? So we're gonna committed to be there to help you to do that. But on today's American Dream program about getting the permanent residency in the U.S., I do think that nothing is better than employment-based category number 5 with the regional center, John.
Absolutely.
Right, and I do think that not just the program is great, but the management team behind it also wonderful. It's starting out with corporate partner that we have. People like Ryan and Robert, people that working in this industry for such a very, very long time, right? And the immigration lawyer also great one as well, right? And so are the service team, and then we team up with all the broker in Vietnam and in Asia that helping the client. After a year of building this program, and so it going from fund number 1 to fund number 17, EB-5 program in Seattle. It going from project 1 to project 62 with modern living land developer guy like me, right? Be able to team up with a great team, great regional center program, and bring this program to you guys, which is the investor that need to convert in visa into a permanent visa with a foreign investor from Asia, Europe, and Africa to come to the U.S., to come to the U.S. in the easiest way to go, right? So with that in mind, I think this is wonderful program today. And unless we like to take some question from the audience to coming in. Are there any question that people wanted to ask? You can go ahead and turn that in.
All right. Thank you very much for your time. We really appreciate it. Have a good day.